Welcome to the Sisterhood Tea Party, where we get together weekly to discuss all the tea about life, relationships, pop culture, and generally anything you chat about with your best friend over a cup of tea or beverage of choice.
We're your hosts, Stephanie and Jessica, and we've been spilling the tea to each other for more than a decade now. And now we're ready to invite the rest of you to the tea party.
In today's episode, we are spilling the tea about making friends as an adult. We will break down how to make friends, why it's important to be intentional, and the difference between size and quality of a friendship group.
A quick plug before we get started. If you like what you hear today, you can follow at Sisterhood Tea Party on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram.
Now let's get to sipping with what's top of mind for us this week.
Well, top of mind right now for me, Jess, are beauty hacks.
Ooh, yes, I love a beauty hack.
Love a good beauty hack. We kind of talked about this earlier too, but I really love just things that make my life a little bit easier in terms of just beauty and just upkeep of just everyday things. One of those things, press on nails.
They look so good. I was looking at those earlier. They're so cute.
Yes. And you can't see them obviously, but for the camera. But I had the dip nails on and I was like, all right, I need to take these off. And I didn't really have time to go to the nail salon to sit there and deal with them cutting into me and complaining about the color that I chose and complaining about the nail shape. I was like, I'm just going to pick them out myself. So yeah. I went to a local Ulta and picked out these press-on nails. They were $7 and did them within 30, 45 minutes.
How long do you feel like they last, or do you know yet?
I've had them done. I've done them before and they usually last a week or so.
That's good though.
For press-on nails?
Yeah.
Yes. I did them. The last time I did them was actually my trip to New York several months ago for work. And I ended up loving them.
Yeah.
And I decided, I was like, I need to just do them for every once in a while when I'm in a pinch. I just need to get them
nice
done.
Way to just kind of elevate things.
Yeah. Just to get it elevated and one less thing to worry about. So
I love that. Girl. For me, top of mind, totally different topic. For me, and I posted about this recently, pop music as rock covers.
Get into it, girl.
If you take a pop song and you make it into a rock version of that song, obsessed. And I know one of my followers, and I know you were talking about this too, how Demi Lovato made her rock version.
Yes.
Didn't even know that was a thing. I do love
Sorry
that.
Not sorry. Slash with Slash is very good.
So good.
It's very good.
But also there's this song by Versus Me, and I don't even know this band, but Versus Me, and they took Cruel Summer by Taylor Swift and made it screamo, and I love it. And then also it took me down this spiral rabbit hole of looking up old ones. I don't remember if you remember Lil Wayne's Lollipop. There was a band back in the day that made a screamo version of it, and I just put that on when I'm in the gym and I go so hard because I know all the words, and it's but it's hard, I don't know how else to express it.
I do love a good remixed version of a song, but some of them I'm you probably should have just left it.
Stuck with the original.
Totally agree with the pop into rock is a vibe.
It's so good. So now let's get into today's tea, which is making friends as an adult.
Yes.
This is something that's really difficult for me. I think it's really difficult for a lot of people our age.
I would agree with that. There have been a lot of questions around how do people our age make friends? Because going back to my grad school days and college days, even where it was just easier to make friends because of the situation. It was all situational.
Yes.
You're in classes, you're in these organizations, you're in sports, whatever it is. And these people are here and you're making friends and making those connections. But
this is what in a rom-com novel they would call it forced proximity trope, right? You're forced to be near someone. And so then you naturally develop friendships or relationships or whatever with them, right?
Exactly. And that's the way that it was. And so, as you move on from those, you graduate, you move on, you move to different city, state, whatever.
Your friends start separating. And then how do you find your new crew?
How do you do it? Right.
Yeah.
So for me, and my mom has actually also told me this, that I tend to make friends very easily.
You do. You are very good at making friends. I have come to you for advice on this before.
Right. And I'm I don't get it. I don't understand how, but it's something in me, I guess.
Yeah.
But here are my tips. I will be the expert for this particular show. But the biggest thing is how do you make friends as an adult? If you feel like you need to increase your circle, you feel like you're kind of missing something, what do you do? How do you do it? So tips that I like to share biggest thing, you join different organizations, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are tons of different like adult like sports leagues and social groups and different organizations that are like geared towards like-minded individuals.
Yeah.
So what are your interests? Kind of dive into yourself. What are your interests? What are things that you like to do? Things that you want to kind of learn more about? Join those groups, right?
When you join organizations like that,
right,
do you go into it thinking, hey, I want to go meet new friends? Or are you like, hey, I'm really interested in this thing for me and I want to go join something about that? Like, because I feel like that's a different mindset when you go into something.
That's true. And I think, oh, that's a good question. It's two parts. So if you go into it with a mindset of like, I want to meet new people, and like you don't, like, how do you feel about that after?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you are truly interested in something, I think go into it with that mindset first, because the friends will follow. Like,
that's true.
You will meet people in that no matter what. So go into it knowing like, yes, I'm actually interested, and don't go just because, oh, this is a great place to meet friends. Like, go there because you're actually interested, because that interest will feed off into people who you want to be friends with.
I love that. I think that is like a shift in mentality where I think sometimes, at least for me, like when I'm thinking about and when you meet new people, I'm focusing on the goal of meeting new people, not on just like getting involved in some way.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that, but just know that like, you don't want to feel disappointed.
Or the pressure.
Like, it's less pressure if you think about, well, I'm genuinely interested in X, so I'm going to do this and just enjoy it. And you never know who you'll meet at that point, and then it makes it even better.
Yeah, for sure.
In addition to that, I would also say even things like going to concerts. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I have known people who've gone to concerts by themselves, and they meet people again who all love the same artist or the band, and they're bonding, living their best life.
I love that.
You know what I mean? Also, the gym.
Oh, yes. The gym is a good one.
A good one.
That's where I think I've had the most success, actually. When I first moved to San Francisco, I got a personal trainer. And then her and I became really good friends. Same when I moved here to Colorado. I, at some point, ended up getting a personal trainer. And then her and I became really good friends, because again, it's like you're spending so much time with this person, like talking one-on-one. Like, even if it's not that, even if you're just like taking a class at a gym or something, like you get to know the instructors, you get to know them and stuff. And then next thing you know, like you've like built a connection. And you're like, do you want to go to the movies? Like, do you want to be my friend? Do you want to hang out?
I would 100% agree with that. Like, I think that's the biggest thing, is because that's an opportunity for you to be social. Now, I know some people are like, don't bother me at the gym, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But like, you will seek out the people who are kind of looking for the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, and even when I first moved to Dallas, that is where a lot of my friends came from. I was a member at Gold's Gym, and I did all of their group fitness classes, and I made friends there. And then I joined different, group fitness settings from there. I did a variety of different things, F45. Now I have a new gym that I go to now. And the same thing, like that gym community is so welcoming. And again, like-minded individuals that are doing things that you all love.
Yeah.
Like, it goes a long way.
You also have to put time in, because you're not going to expect that like you go to one class and all of a sudden you meet people. Like, there's something about like you see someone like 3 or 4 times and then you're like, hey, I see you here often, and then like it kind of like there's a segue from there.
It is. And honestly, it's a true natural progression into making a friend at the gym, because I think about it in group fitness. I go to the same classes, like in the same days weekly. So I'm going, as an example, I go to a 6:30 class, and I know that 6:30 crew is going to be relatively the same. There might be some newer people who come in and out, but like I see the same set of people there.
Yeah.
You start to talk to them saying, great workout or whatever. And like, it starts to be a natural progression. Then you start talking a little bit, you find an interest, and like, then you're friends. Right. But it does take time. I think that's the biggest thing, is knowing that like, in order to build a quality friendship, that it needs to take some time.
Yeah. And I think that's also a part of why it makes it so hard, because we're all so busy at this stage in our life.
We really are. We have a lot of moving pieces, a lot of things going on. It's like making time for things that you want to invest in, and friendship should be one of them.
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, the challenge that I always face is I'm like, I have moments of where I'm like, hey, I'm free. Yeah. I want to go do something. And then I'm like, oh no. Who can I hit up that can like go do something? And then that's the moment where I'm like, I need to invest in expanding my friendship group. But then that's like when, like, that's not the moment to do it. Like, I think what you're calling out is like, you got to like invest before you get to that moment. It's like a self-care thing.
It is.
It's going back to that. You're doing something nice for later you. to go do all these things to meet other people,
It
so
really
that then
is.
when you're like, hey, I want to go do something, you have some people that you can head up to go do something with.
Exactly. So I think that's the biggest thing, is like making sure that you kind of found those different groups, organizations, gyms, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And make the time to do it and build the rapport with people and like get to know them, and that friendship will follow.
I love that. I love that.
But in addition to that, you also, again, with the time, you also have to be open to like meeting with them and like commit, because it's one thing for you to be like, yeah, let's hang out. And then where's the follow through?
Yeah.
Which
I've
again,
definitely done that before, not followed through.
And I've been guilty of that as well. Like, I think we all have in
Yeah.
some way, shape, or form, where you really are excited about this and then like something falls through and whatever it is. And
yeah,
life happens, but being intentional about that friendship, right? So I've seen things in different like Facebook groups as an example, where someone will post like, hey, I'm new to the area and I just want to make new connections. And I'll see like 50, 60 posts being like, ooh, add me, like, let's get a group together. And I'm like, 50, 60 is a huge number of people. And I'm sure that that person who posted was not expecting that traction.
No.
And probably is overwhelmed at this point and is just like,
where do I start?
Right? Has that, like, have you experienced anything like that, or have you seen anything like that?
Oh, definitely. There's like some more like Denver social groups, or like Denver like 20s 30s groups, you know, where people post that, and I've even posted those things before. And then same, it's like it's like overwhelming. There's so much. I've seen better traction with, I'm in some like child free groups that are local.
Okay.
And those ones, like, I actually see people planning meetups and like actually getting together. I haven't personally gone to any of them because either like I've been out of town that weekend, or like I'm just like not in that mindset at the time. But I have seen more traction around that. But like, yeah, it's very common, I feel like, to do that.
I think so too. Now, in those groups, have you personally gone in and created a post saying, hey?
I have.
You have?
I've done one.
Okay.
It was like when I first moved to Denver, I think, and I posted there. But I did like add a few people on Facebook from it and maybe like chat a little bit, but not really anything from there. I've had more luck in in-person meetings, like the friends I mentioned from the gym. I also like met a girl when I was like buying a new car, actually. Like she was like, want to be my friend? I was like, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
I probably need to follow up with her a little bit more than I have, but like, yeah, I feel like in person has like been easier actually, and like doing things like you said that I'm already doing versus the groups.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with that. So overall, I feel like it's just important to try and build a circle of good people in your life, you know, and I know it's hard, especially at our age, like to build that quality circle, but you know, you'll know exactly when you find them and hold them close, hold them tight. Right. But again, you want people who support you, who want to see you win, who lift you up, but you need to do the exact same thing for them.
Yeah.
Right.
It is like, it is work, but it shouldn't feel like there's that initial hump, I think, but then it doesn't really feel like work anymore. It's like they're part of your life. Yeah. It is your life.
And it's just like second nature to like, I have a group chat of like my, you know, my good friends, and we are always lifting each other up, checking in on each other, making sure that we have what we need. And if not, somebody is going to figure it out and make sure that that person is taken care of. Like, that's just so important.
It's so funny. I love this conversation because this is not something I've thought about. Like, I just keep coming back to that point of like, do things that are for you.
Yes.
Not just for the goal of making friends, because this is how I interact with people on TikTok. Like, the people I have met through TikTok are people because I was either posting about books or I was posting about travel, and then they were doing that too. And then like over time we started like building a connection over these topics, and I'm like, oh my gosh, if you lived at like close by, we would totally hang out all the time and like we'd nerd out about these things. And it was the interest that was the first thing. It wasn't like I'm trying to make a friend and get on TikTok to make a friend.
And that's, for a lot of people on TikTok, I feel like that's the initial thing, is they're just doing something that they love. They're sharing out something that they love, whether it's books, travel, lifestyle, pop culture, whatever it is. They have a passion and they just want to share it with other people.
Yeah. So take that to real life.
Exactly.
Okay, but what about, because again, I feel like you're very good at this. So I'm kind of using this as like, give me all your advice.
Sure.
Give me all your wisdom of this discussion. What, like, you have a very big circle of friends.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
Right. So would you say that you have the same like degree of friendship? Like, are you actually close with all of them? Like, how do you think about quantity versus quality? You know, people always say like, keep your circle small. Like, I don't know. How do you think about that?
Yeah, that That is it's a good question. So for me is making sure that the quality of people that I have, like I can rely on them, right? The quantity, I need to make sure that these people are for me. And I can pretty much weed people out very quickly.
Yeah.
For the most part.
But how do you do that?
Weeding them out?
Yeah.
I have a series of
cut them out. Or no, you have like an interview, like a series of things.
Kind of a series of questions that I'll ask specific people. Just trying to feel like suss them out.
That's smart though.
Yeah. And there are some people that I can just pick up on the vibes. I'm like, you're not it for me. And that's okay. You do not have to be friends with everyone.
True.
You can be friendly with people and just, hi, how are you? Like be very cordial, but you do not have to be friends with everybody. Yeah. And I think some people get in that mindset of like, especially bringing new people into a circle, or you're meeting people at a party or whatever it is, and you automatically feel like you have to be friends with them. You don't. You can definitely be friendly, but you are not obligated to automatically be their friend because they're in proximity with you.
Sure.
So for me, I want to make sure all of my friends know this as they're probably listening, but
did you know that you were being interviewed at the time?
And a lot of them, it's just like, it was second nature. Like a lot of the friends that I met were because I was in a position of doing something that I had an interest in. Yeah. So I already automatically knew that this is somebody who's like-minded, just like me. So that was really easy to keep them in. And I think about like for my birthday, I had, like 20 some people which is a lot of people that I can look at every single person at that table and they meant something to me in a different way.
I love that.
And I knew that they would have my back no matter what. And so I look at that as like, I don't know, kind of an accomplishment.
It is. Absolutely. Of like being able to have so loved. Like, I love that.
Being loved and like just knowing how to make quality friendships and like hopefully keeping them for a lifetime.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
Yeah.
I was going to ask something about that and it spaced me because I was just thinking about you at your birthday party and all these people just like, I feel like for me, it's like I meet a small subset of people and because I've moved so much, like I'm such like a nomad. And like, for me, that was my wedding, right? Yes. My wedding was and I know they say it's like cheesy to say like your wedding day is your favorite day.
Your wedding was amazing though. So I still think about it from time to time.
For me, it is that feeling of feeling loved. Like there were people from all these different like areas of my life, like when I was in grad school, when I was in college, like when I was living in San Francisco, like family, like all these different stages of my life that like came together for this moment. And it felt like there's like this really beautiful thing to like bring all those people together.
It was a beautiful thing.
And I feel like that's like my version of your birthday party.
I love it. And I think that's so important. And it's a big thing to just continue to like foster those relationships and like keep up with them. Check in on your people is so important. Take care of your people is so important.
So question.
Yes.
Like to get to the tactical part of this.
Sure.
You are, let's say you go to this one of these like groups or this events.
Yeah.
You meet someone, you're kind of hitting it off. Like, how do you say, do you want to be my friend? Like, do you like, what is the, do you know what I mean? Are you like,
you're like, so let me get your number.
Or like, do I add you on Instagram? Like, what is your go-to?
Oh gosh.
Or is it just always awkward? You just embrace it?
I can think of another instance that this happened, but the friendship didn't really go anywhere. So I was with a group of friends and we did speed dating, which separate.
Another episode.
That's another episode. And so we had met, in this group there, we had met a girl and she came up to our group because she saw us all like chatting and everything. We hit it off. Like, we're like, oh, like, you're so cool, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, let's just follow each other on Instagram. So that was the initial connection, was just share Instagram. Okay. And then we kind of left it at social media. Okay. There are other instances where if I know that this is somebody that like we could definitely get along, I will probably like say like, let's just exchange numbers and like I'll text you and we can like get brunch or do whatever and keep it like very low key. I know it gets awkward for some people.
Yeah.
Because it is awkward, especially at our.
Like, do you want to be my friend?
You want to be friends or no? You're not good. Okay. Never mind. Okay. Bye. Like what? But I think just keeping it casual and it'll be a natural flow where it just makes sense, whether you ask for that person's number or like, hey, like put your number down. Like I want to text you and like hit you up for like brunch or whatever.
Yeah.
Coffee, like keep it chill. Like,
yeah. See, when I was in college, I was fearless about this. Yes. And I think half the time it's because I had been drinking a lot, but I'll save that for another one. But yeah, because I would just be like, I would go to a party and I would meet someone and I would be like, give me your number. We're going to go here later.
We're gonna be friends.
Like, yeah. And then now I'm like, I don't know. There's something like an anxiety wall there. It is awkward.
It's a different mindset. And I think it's just, as we're getting older, we are thinking about like people we want in our lives.
Yeah.
You know, and just different stages. It is a commitment because you don't want to just be friends with everyone just because.
Yeah.
Like you do want those quality friendships. Whether you have a small circle or a larger circle, you still want to make sure it is quality.
Worth your time.
Worth your time. And they are truly quality people.
Yeah.
So
I love that. I think we've touched on all of this. This is incredible advice. I'm like already thinking about, okay, what am I going to do next?
Absolutely.
What groups can I join?
So many opportunities out there.
I know. I got to get more involved. I
believe in you. You know that.
Thanks. So we like to close out every episode by sharing the last drop of tea for the day. So Stephanie, what is the last drop of tea today?
Last drop is, if you want to make friends as an adult, you have to be intentional. Put yourself out there and just get involved.
I love that. That's beautiful. All right. We'll see you all next time.
See you later.